everyone. In this particular session, I have planned to discuss about the iterative statements that we can implement using loops in C programming. Basically, C programming supports many types of loops. C programming supports specifically three types of loops: for loop, while loop, and do while. At first, we'll see about the details of for loop, and in that another lecture, I'm going to cover about your while loop and do while loop as well in details. Okay. So before I start with that loop, let us first discuss why do we think that loop is required in computer program, and what are the real life and scenario where we can see loop is very useful while writing the program. So let's take this simple code that you can see in this computer screen over here. See, in this main method, what I did, just a printf line is there. Okay, printf who is going to print this line hello world into the computer screen. If I just execute that code, now think that if you want to print any such particular output more than once, here you just think about only one line. Now think about suppose you're going to build the logic of check a given number is prime or not, and you're going to check for n number of input. Whenever you give enter a number through the keyboard as input, it's going to be tell you that number is prime or not. So that means this logic for the writing for the prime number, checking for the prime number, that particular logic need to be repeat again and again. Again, we need to take the input. So now let me show you an example. What we that just you want to do it here. Now let's suppose that you have a statement. You are doing this a equal to a plus 3. A simple statement, arithmetic addition. The value of a is updating here, and the value of a is get added with the value 3, and that updated value will be placed into a. You want to repeat this process, suppose 5 times. 5 times you want to repeat this process. Which process? This performing this addition, and also you want to update the value of a 5 times. Okay, so what we normally can do in simple way, if you think, we can write this statement 5 times here. Yeah, this statement, see, we are writing here 5 times. We done the 4 times, and now again the 5th time we have written the simple arithmetic addition here. You might think, yes, there is no use of loops by just repeating the same statement again and again. So using the loop, what we can do, instead of writing this statement 5 times, we're going to write this statement only 1 times, and compiler will execute through some instruction that we're going to put to the compiler that particular line that I want to execute 5 times. So what is the purpose of the loop? The purpose of loop in any particular program, what you can do, you can just repeat. Okay, we can just repeat any piece of code any number of times. What we can do, we can just repeat any piece of code can execute any number of time. Normally we call it finite amount of time. It should not be infinite. If it is infinite, then its code will execute, never going to be end till the runtime environment get filled with the output. Okay, so that means your RAM is going to be full with the data. Till that time it will execute. So our loop should always execute a finite amount of time. So that means in the loop, there must be some mechanism that we can check always how many times this loop is executing and how many times that still that loop need to be executed. How many times that line that I have executed here and how many times that line need to be executed furthermore. So there should be some checkpoint in the loop is required. Okay, so it need to be checked here how many times this loop is get executed. So let's begin with this concept here, a loop. Okay, how can we repeat a particular piece of statement for execution? So I'm starting with the initial for loop. So let us see how this for loop is look like. For loop in C programming comes into in this particular form. So let us note down this. The syntax I'm writing here. Okay, syntax of the for loop. For is the keyword we need to use And the first statement inside the for loop is initialization. Initialization, the first statement. For loop comes with three statements. First one is initialization. Second one is the condition. And third one we have the updation. So simply we can write update, and then after that body of the for loop will be started. So this will have the body of for. When it's a body of for, what this thing will have actually, you can put any number of statement inside it. Any number of statement inside it. Okay, it can have a switch case, it can have a if else block, many blocks, it can have a simple printf statement, it can have any types of operator that you can use. Sorry. So we can put anything inside the body of the for loop, a valid executable statements according to the syntax of C. So what is our first intention? Our first intention, let's print a line 5 times into the console. But instead of writing the printf statement, printf function 5 times, we're going to write printf statement or printf function only once. So now let me first write the printf statement. Printf. Welcome to the looping statement. Sorry. In C programming. Okay, so what we can do, we just, if I execute this code, you can see the output. It only just printed only once. It not printed 5 times that we are looking for. So now let's see the syntax of for loop that I have written above that printf statement. So initialization. Initialization means what? We're going to use a variable inside a for loop, which is going to keep remind every time how many times that loop is already executed and how many times still left that loop going to be executed. We're going to use a particular variable, and initialization means declaration of that variable as well as set some counter from which that counting can start. Very simple way that we can understand this concept. If you ask any particular anyone, if you ask anyone that start counting, okay, if you ask anyone that start counting, or suppose perform this job, there are some laborers are working in your house, so you are doing you're asking them to repeat this task 5 times. So that means that particular person, the particular labor need to be remembered how many times he already performed the task, so that once that 5 times is completed, he can tell you, oh, sir, I have done my job. Okay, so we going to use a variable for the initialization. We called it loop control variable. Okay, loop control variable. If you say variable means what? That particular variable's value, particular identifier value will change during the execution of the body of loop. Will change. Okay, so now see update. What update will do? Will updating the loop control variable. Why? Because if you remember that lever is suppose there are few items are there in this particular location. Okay, few items are there. So you have given instruction shift all this item from this location to here. So he is counted first that how many items is already there. 6 items are there. So shifting one by one, and is also counting how many times he is shifting the items. How many items is already shifted. And once he shifted the second item, he update his counter. Yes, I have shifted the 2 items already. So that's why update is important. Second thing, initialization. Initialization means till which point he should start the counting. When he's shifting the item at the very first time, initially his counter is 0. He did not shift any item from this location to this location. So initially it is 0. So counter is started from 0. And then how many items are there? 6 items are there. So he always need to be checked how many times he already shifted. So this checking need to be done through the condition. Checking will be done through the condition. Okay. So what we have done here, we'll take a variable here, loop control variable I. It will be declared, okay, inside the for loop, and it will also be initialized with the counter, suppose 0. And how many items are there? 6 items are there. So we're going to check. Once the values become 6, that means it's already shifted the item, all the items. So we'll condition something like that. And once it's shifting the item one after another, we'll increment the counter of it. So he can easily remember how many items is left for shifting and how many items he already shifted from that particular location to that location. Okay, so let's just write a for loop, a standard for loop to just print this line, okay, 5 times. See it here. We'll start it with the for keyword. Then we need to declare a variable which will set the counter, or you can use a variable here count. Initially count is 0, that lever is not shifted any item, he's just moved to that particular location where items are there. So now he set the counter 0, and while he's shifting the item from one location to another location, he will check that he's already shifted all the items or no, it is the item who need to be shifted. So you need to check, yes, the value of that particular variable, is it cross that particular range or not. So 6 items are there, we start setting the counter from 0. So once that counter becomes 6, that means all the item is already shifted. After shifting the first item, we need to update the value of the count. So yeah, definitely if we shifted only one item, count will be incremented by 1. So that's why I have used here post incremented operator, which will increment the value of count by 1. So now let's start the body of the for loop. And what are you going to do? We're just going to place this line inside the for loop. Done? After printing this, I need to be shifted the console in a new line. So I'm putting a \n over here. Okay, so let's just run this code and see how many times we get this output. And you can see 6 times output get printed that particular line. But if you look at carefully the code here, I have used the printf statement only once. So let me show you how this loop is actually process this particular piece of code, how for loop is actually works in computer environment. Okay, so initially this is the statement number 1. Okay, initialization. This is our initialization, correct? This is initialization. So here we can use this. This is initialization. Yes. So there is some variable which is get declared. Okay, and that variable is initialized to 0. Correct? This is our initialization. Remember, very important point. This initialization statement only executed once at the very first time. Only executed once. Next. Once initialization is completed, next what compiler will do? Compiler will look for this condition that the lever is shifted all the items or not. So how are you going to check? So now you are comparing the value of this variable count with the number of items. So here it is checked that 0 less than 6, it is true. So this is the step number 2 it will do. Who compiler will do? If it is true, okay, if that particular condition, there is a 2 possibility. One is false and another is true. Correct? In C programming, not only C and AD programming, whenever you check the condition, okay, whenever you check the condition, correct, condition either will be false, either will be true. So when we get the true condition, yes, now it is true. So what compiler will do? Compiler will go inside the body of loop. Go inside the body of the loop. So it will going inside the body of the loop. Now when the program control going inside the body of the loop, then what? Then it will execute the number of lines that you have written inside the for loop. So here it is only one line. So there is a no matter of concern that particular line get executed and will be printed. So you can see in the console that particular line is also get printed. Okay. So now let's move further. After printing this particular line, what next compiler will do? Compiler will go up, but because it is a loop, when you repeat some work again and again, like your fan is rotating again and again, so it will be a kind of loop, correct? So when you go up into that loop, that one need to do, what you have done, you have printed this line already once. Once that line get printed, so what we need to do, we need to update that particular variable. So now this particular statement going to be executed, update statement count plus plus. Okay, so this is the step number 4 will done by the compiler. Update statement count plus plus. Earlier the value of count was 0. Now due to the plus plus, it's incremented to 1. Okay, and then loop will go up with the value of that particular variable count with 1. So now here you can see that program control will enter to the body of the loop or not. It will be decided by the value of the count. If the number of tasks still remain, it need to be entered to the body of the loop. If the number of tasks is already over, it is not going to allow to enter the body of the loop. So that means this particular body is going to be executed or not. It is totally depend on the value of that particular variable. So that's why this type of variables are called loop control variables. Okay, loop control variables. So now what is the value of count? Count become 1. So now see, again I'm going to check the condition. Very careful. This initialization only executed once. It will not execute it second time onwards when program control is going up into the loop again. It only execute very first time. Second time onwards, counter will be executed. Sorry, condition will executed. Condition. So condition need to be true. So here you are checking 1 less than 6. Is it true? Yes, it is true. So if it is true, means again it will go inside the body of the loop, and that particular printf line will be executed again. Okay. Next, what you need to do? Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. So next, what you need to do? Again, it will go up, but while going up, update will get executed, and now it is become 2 from 1 to 2. So again, it will be going up with the value 2. So now again, you need to check the condition. 2 less than 6. Yes, it is true. If it is true, going inside. Again, that particular line get printed. Again, if you're going up, and before going up, update will be executed again. Due to this count plus 2 become 3. So now again, you are checking the condition. 3 less than 6, is it true? Yes, it is true. So going inside, print that particular line again and going up. Before going up, execute the update statement and increment the value of the count from 3 to 4. So again, it is going, check the condition. 4 less than 6, is it true? Yes, it is true. So it is going inside the body of the loop. So it will print that particular line again. And now again, count plus. So from 4, it becomes 5. And next, again, what you need to do? Again, it will check the condition. 5 less than 6. Yes, 5 is less than 6. So again, it is true. It will go inside the body of the loop. So again, that particular line get printed, and it is going up again with the increment to value from 5 to 6. And now what you are doing, you are checking 6 less than 6. Is it true? No, it is false. So once it is false, what it will do? Program control will jump from this point to the very after the for loop will jump. So if it is false, false means what? It will go outside of for loop. So now see, if you look at the values of count, okay, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times it is executed. That means the number of items was 6, and you have shifted all the items. Once you shifted all the items, no more condition will be true. The loop will be stopped. So how many times this loop is executed? 6 times this loop is executed, the body of the loop. So that's why it is called finite number of times. Finite number of times. Okay. So let's see more examples with this for loop. I hope you understand the syntax over here. Okay. So now let's proceed further. Let's do something else with the for loop. Further, what we can do. Here, according to the syntax, what I did, I have just done the initialization inside and declaration inside the for loop. C programming also supports that loop control variable can be declared outside and can be initialized inside the for loop. Can be inside the for loop. Now see what I did. I had done the declaration outside of the for loop and initialization within the for loop. So if I now execute this code, we'll get the same output again. Here you can see the same output again, it get printed, the particular line 6 times. Okay. So earlier syntax that I have discussed with you, it is according to the standard of C99. If your compiler is not up to the standardization of C99 or beyond that, your compiler will not support the previous syntax. You need to follow that part, this syntax. This syntax is supported by C89, which is the first standard version of the C compiler. And this syntax also supports C99, C 2003, and C11 as well. Okay, these are the various versions of the C compiler present. Okay, so let's see further what we can do. Now see next, I'm just removing the initialization from here as well, and I put the initialization completely outside. Okay, completely outside. So now you might think that I am not following the syntax here. Okay, I am not following the syntax. You might think here. Because according to the syntax, initialization should be written inside the for loop. But right now, you've done the initialization outside of the for loop. So will this code execute? Definitely this code will execute. Why? Because see, as I already told you that initialization will be executed only once. So my program execution started from the very first line of the main method. It declared that particular variable initialized to 0. And when the program control comes to the for loop, it finds a semicolon. You know what is semicolon? Semicolon means end of statement. But if I put only one semicolon, it is called a null statement. We have used end of statement without any particular valid keywords or valid identifier name, anything. Okay, it is called null statement. In C program, this is a valid statement. Let me show you. Let me show you. So now see, before this declaration, I put a semicolon, only semicolon. This is a null statement, correct? So let's run this code, check is there any compile time error or not. See, there is no compile time error. That means we can put a semicolon alone also without anything. Without anything. Okay, it will be considered as a null statement. So what compiler will consider here for this for loop? Compiler will consider that this for loop is without initialization. Without initialization, there is no initialization inside the for loop. But what I told, initialization only executed once, so I put it outside. But when second time, then after the initialization, it is empty, no problem. It is null statement. Compiler executed that particular semicolon, said no problem, syntax is correct. It's checking the condition. While checking the condition, it is find that there is a variable count. So definitely it's going to check now, yes, that particular variable is declared here before use it. Okay, here you can see that particular variable is using here, but it is also declared here. This is the rules of C programming. If you want to use a particular variable anywhere, it should be declared and initialized first. So here you can see it is declared as it is initialized. So there will be no problem. Okay with the C programming concept. So now again, it's going to do what? It's going to check the particular condition. What is the value of count? Count is 0. And what is the condition is written? 6. So condition is true. So it will execute up to 6 less than 6. Updation is also there. This line going to be executed. Loop will go up. Second time onwards, initialization statement will not execute. Condition will be executed. And updation will be executed at the very last statement of the body of for loop. Although I have written the updation here, updation always executed at the last statement of the body of the for loop. If you remember the previous explanation, when I go up into the body of for loop again, then I'm incrementing, then I'm updating the loop control variable. Okay, so there's the syntax is correct, and if we can write this way also the for loop initialization we can put outside. If I execute the code, here you can see my output window, I get the output 6 times. There is no issue. Now let's see what are the other things that we can do with the for loop. So as I told that this statement will be executed at the very last statement of the body. So why not we put this at the last statement of the body? Okay. So now see, updation is there, but updation is not within the for loop. Updation is inside the body of the for loop. Correct. So now run this code again. Now see, we get the same output again. 6 output 6 lines. Same line get printed 6 times. But the different way I have written the for loop over here. Different way I have written the for loop over here. Okay. So what compiler will do here? See, as of now, compiler will be considered this count plus plus. Okay, what compiler will consider? This count plus plus. Okay, count plus plus as what? Count plus plus is the statement written inside the body. Compiler will not consider this count plus plus as an updation. Okay, it will be considered as the part of the body only. Okay, as the part of the body only. Just a minute, that why this pan tool is not working. Just a minute. Yes. So now just take the pan tool again. Yeah, fine. Now, okay. So now here you can see count statement. Here compiler will consider this is the last statement of the body. Compiler nothing to do with the update is missing on. Okay. So now after executing this statement, this program control will go up into the for loop. For what? For execute check the condition again. Condition is true or not. But before this condition, this empty updation will execute definitely. Empty updation will execute. Although updation is done here, intentionally we did this, but compiler will again check that part updation. So nothing is there, no problem. We're dealing with the loop control variable count. So we have done this loop control variable count here. We are updating here or we are updating here. It is fine. Either of the way, it will update the value by one only. Correct? Until the count, the value of count is become 6, this loop condition will true and that particular line get updated. Correct? Now next we're going to see the another way that we can write the for loop here. Now let's remove the condition from. We're going to remove the condition from. So let's see what will happen. Condition is gone. Now condition is gone. Now run this code. See what is happening. This line will be printed infinite number of times. Why? Because there is no condition. No condition means what? No condition means for loop can execute infinite number of times. So see here you can see for loop is written. Okay, but for loop neither have any initialization, no condition, no updation. Okay, you can put this updation here. No problem. And now remove this updation from here. Again, this loop will infinite. See? Loop is infinite. It's printing that particular line infinite number of times. Why? Because you did not tell the particular lever how many items need to be shifted. Okay, continue shifting the item, shifting the item, shifting the item. So similarly here, printf is printing, printing, printing because you did not put any condition. So if that for loop have no condition, means for loop is true. Condition is always true. So let me just add a comment over here. No condition means loop condition is always true. Loop condition is always true. Okay, loop condition is always true. I hope that idea is clear. So now next point is very, very important point here. My loop I want to execute 6 times, but it is infinite here because this condition is missing. How can I control that particular loop? What should I do? So if initially here we do not want to put the condition, we can use the condition with if-else statement inside the body of for loop. So what will be the earlier condition? Count less than 6 was the condition. So let's put this here. Count less than 6. Yes. Print this line. Just a minute. Okay. Print this line. Print this line. If count is equal to 6, immediately came out from the loop. Else, break. Break means what? In C programming, we are using the break statement for what purpose? To break out from the loop when this condition is false. It is also called implementation of jump statement. So let us discuss what will happen. Now, instead of 6, let's just put a small value 3. Okay, let's just put a small value 3. If it is executed 3 times, it will also execute it 6 times if I just simply change this particular value. So now let me discuss how this condition is executed here and how break will helpful to break out from the infinite loop. Okay, now see, first of all, initialization is done. There is no issue. Fine. Null initialization, no problem. No condition means true, so going inside. What is the value of count? 0. So what you are doing now, checking the condition 0 less than 3, is it true? Yes, it is true. Going inside the body of if, so it prints this line. Okay, print this line. First it prints one times, done. Now, if condition is true, body of if is executed, so definitely else is not executed the very first time. It will go up. While going up, updation will be executed. So below of count from updated from 0 to 1. So again, while entering to the body of for, that there is no condition means it is true. And now you are checking the condition 1 less than 3. Yes, 1 less than 3 is true. Printf this particular line. So printed that line again. So my if is true, so else will not execute it. Again, it will go up. While going up, count plus plus will execute it. So from 1, it's become 2. And again, there is no condition, means it is true. Now you are checking the condition. Is it 2 less than 3? Yes, 2 less than 3. Is it true? Yes, it is true. So body of if is executed. So again, body of if is executed. So if is executed, definitely else will not execute. It will go up. While it is going up, this 2 is updated to 3 by count plus plus. So there is no condition, means it is true again. It is true again. It is coming to the condition written with the if now inside the body of for loop. 3 less than 3 is become false. So now at the very first time if become false. If condition become false, then else will be true. So when else is true, what it will happen? The body of the else have a break statement. Break means came out from the loop. So it will be the outside of the for loop. Outside of the for loop. So how many times this line is printed? 3 times this line get printed. Let us check our output. See, 3 times we get the output. How we have now implemented the condition? We have implemented the condition with the help of an if block inside the body of for loop, so that my loop can be controlled. It cannot be infinite. Okay, it cannot be infinite. So what is the most important point of discussion here? Most important point of discussion is that if we miss the condition in for loop, it will be an infinite. It will be an infinite. Clear? Okay. So now let's proceed to the next part. And what this break is doing that break help us to came out from that loop. So once the if condition become false, that means condition is false, the else will be executed, and the break, due to this break, the program control will jump outside of the body of for loop here in line number 18. So my loop execution is stopped. So now let's see what will happen if I did not use here else. So now I'm going to do what? I'm going to put this else statement in a comment. Now see what will happen. So that means now you are not using break. That means your loop will continue. Why? Because while entering to the body of for, there is no condition. No condition means it is true. But output will be print only 3 times. See, my program is still executing, still executing. See what happened. Still executing. Okay. So what happened here? Count is going beyond the range of integer in the positive direction. Once it crosses the positive range, it is coming to the negative side of the integer values. By default, integers are signed integer. Correct. So once it gets the negative value, again it start printing. See one more time. 3 times printed, now it is waiting. Plus plus going to the positive direction. Now positive range is over, it is coming to the negative side. So negative value less than 3 is executing the body. So see what happened here. If you miss the condition and if you also miss the break statement inside the body of loop, your loop will be infinite again. Okay. So better to open that break here. So now let's see. If I put the break inside the if, then what will happen? Break means what? Came out from the body of the for loop. Body of the loop. Okay, now see, we get the output only one time. Why? Because the initial value is 0, so 0 there is a no condition means true. If 0 less than 3, it is true. It prints that particular line. After printing that particular line, we get the break statement. Break means go outside of the for loop. That means only one line is only one time that particular line get executed. Okay, so break we normally used for the controlling of the loop if we miss the condition while entering from the for loop. Okay, so now see what we are doing here. I'm shifting this count from this for loop to here. After printing that particular line, we definitely use count. Sorry, count plus plus. Okay, so now my for loop has nothing, no initialization, no condition, no updation, but updation is inside the body and condition is also inside the body, but initialization I put outside. Now if I run this code, definitely it will print only 3 times. See, 3 times, no problem. Okay, now let's see the other details of the for loop. Here we moving from the forward direction, okay, in positive direction. If you look at carefully, the initial value is 0. Then what I am doing, count plus plus. It is going to 1, it's going to 2, it's going to 3, like that. 3 less than 3 false, coming outside. So we are going in the positive direction. We can also do the reverse one. We can start from 3 and we can check the value of count is greater than 0 or not. And then if it is greater than 0, came out from the loop. So either I can follow this direction, 0 to any particular number, or either I can follow in this direction, any particular number towards this 0. So if we follow this direction, initial value is 0. In this example here, you can check. Initial value is 0. Initial value, okay, initial value is 0. And the conditional value is greater than the initial value. Conditional value is 3. Yes, conditional value is greater than the initial value. In that case, better to follow the updation. Sorry, better to follow the updation plus plus updation. Else what will happen? Else what will happen? Loop will remain infinite. So if this is the reason, follow this direction. If we started from the opposite direction, starting value is 3. I need to reach to 0. It's better to follow in this direction. Correct? So it should be used minus minus. Decrement. Let me show you this. Now see, I'm changing the initial value. Initial value is 3. Condition is greater than 0. So now here you can check. Condition value is less than the initial value. So what we need to follow? Decrement instead of incrementing. Run 3 times, that line get printed. Okay. Now if I follow updation, what will happen? If I follow increment, infinite. Because initial value is 3, 3 plus 1, 4, 4 plus 1, 5. It is going in this direction. Number will be always greater than 0. So infinite. So it should be very careful what we are doing while working with the loop. If you're not carefully follow the loop control variables value, then your loop can be infinite. Okay. If condition false, wrong condition if you put, so there might be a chance that your loop body is never going to be executed. Okay, so that is very carefully you need to do implement at this point. Next, there is another concept is there in the loop. Here we have implemented the break statement. We can also do the with the continue. Okay, let us see this. How continue can be used. And I'll show you what is the meaning of that continue here. Okay, so what we are writing, we have written here, if count is greater than 0, it will be printing. Okay, it will be printing, and then it is decremented. Correct. Instead of this way, we can also write count equal to count minus 1. Same out. The only reason is that decrementing the loop control variable. This is our agenda. Okay, this is our agenda. Right? Okay, fine. Now see, break is missing here. Break is missing, so my program is halted. Correct. So we need to put the break over here so that it came out from the body. Else break. Run. 3 times get printed. 3 times. Okay. So now let's see the use of a continue. Suppose what we're going to do, we're going to start the value from 10, correct? It will go up to 0, and we'll also check now if that particular value is an even number. Okay, if it is even number, then print that value. If that value of count is an odd number, don't print that value. Okay, so we're going to use a continuous statement over here. Let's see what is how we can implement it. So further more condition, if okay count modulus 2 equal to 0, it means an even number. So we are printing the value of count here. Count, it will be printed, done, absolutely fine. Now if it is an even number, what we need to do, if it is an odd number, we are not going to print, it will come here and see what I'm writing. I'm writing here continue instead of break. Okay, instead of break. Here I'm writing continue, and after the else statement, okay, after the else statement, I'm writing something. See. After else statement. Let's see how many times that particular line get printed. Then we'll understand how continue is works. Now again, what I told you, here condition is missing. Condition is written is greater than 0. Okay, fine. But here we did not use the break statement. So this is another important point. We did not use the break statement. Okay. So here we can use a break statement as well. That you can see. I'm writing another one. Else if count equal to 0, break. Okay, right? So now let's run this code. Printing. Okay, why it is printing? Updation is missing. See, there is no updation. Stop this code. Updation need to be placed. So I'm placing the updation here. So count minus or minus count, whatever. Run. Okay. Now let us understand this particular output. So here is the code. Let us discuss. Okay. Let's see how this loop is actually executed. The variable is declared with 10. Okay, initially 10. There is no condition. Means what? No condition means always it is true. Checking the value 10 greater than 0, yes, it is true. So going inside 10 modulus 2 equal to 0, yes, equal to 0. Printf percentage the count. So what is the value of count? 10. So you can see 10 get printed. So this if is true, correct? This if is true. So neither this else if will execute, neither this else will execute. It doing what? Printf after else statement. So it's printf after else statement, and minus count. So count becomes 9. Okay, count becomes 9 due to the minus. So now it will go up into the loop again. 9. No condition, it is true. Now checking the value 9 greater than 0. Is it true? If it is true. Okay, so we need to just change the condition here. Just a moment. Let us change the condition. Put these two conditions together, greater than 0 and count modulus 2 equal to 0. Okay, now let's run this again. Okay, it is altered. Okay, it is not executed and that it gets stopped. Okay, just a minute. Let me just put this continue statement here. Stop this. Put this continue statement here. Okay. Now there is not required. Fine. And now see what will happen. Now see, updation is not within the loop. Updation is inside the loop. Okay, I did not put the updation here. Let's take out the pen. Okay. Now see, updation is not here. Updation is inside the board. So let's see what will happen here. Run this code and we'll check the output and explain. Okay, see, infinite, infinite, infinite. Why it is infinite? Let me show you. And why the value is always 10, 10, 10, 10. It is not reducing the value. Okay, why? So let us understand what continue is doing. Initial value is 10. Correct. Initially value is 10. Fine. There is no condition, it is true. 10 greater than 0, it is true. And 10 modulus 2 equal to 0. Fine. Okay. Printf percentage count, it prints with 10. Continue. Continue means continue the loop after updating the value. Continue the loop after updating the value. It will go from this line to the loop. It will not execute this two line, although this two line is outside of if and else. So we are expecting this two line is executing so that the value can be decremented, so that loop can be controlled. But due to this return of continue, what it will do, it will continue with the updation, and you have missing the updation. Continue with the updation, but there is no updation in the for loop. Updation is here. It is not updation here. We are writing the updation. This updation is not part of the for loop. It is inside the body of the for loop. So compiler will miss this updation. Okay. So what we need to do to control it, the value of count remain 10 here always. Correct. So when you execute this particular line, it will only print 10, 10, 10. See, it printing 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 because value is not decrementing. So what we can do, we need to be place this updation within the for. Yes, within the for. And now put this count in comment. Now run. See. It prints only 10 because second time that our if condition become false. Okay, so why not add one more condition here? Else if okay, count equal to 0, then break. Now yes, this is the output I am looking. So now let's discuss this code here. Initially, what is the value? 10. No condition, it is true. 10 greater than 0, true. And 10 modulus 2 equal to 0, true. So print the value of count. So it prints the 10. Continue. Okay, you have used continue. So continue means continue with the condition of the loop after updating the value. So now here updation is there. So now it's going up with 9 because it is minus count. Now no condition, it is true. 9 greater than 0, yes. And 9 modulus 2 equal to 0, no. When the value is 9, this condition become false. So it's coming to the else if. Else if 9 equal to 0, no. Printf after else statement. So first time it's get printed. Now it is going up again. While going up again minus count. So it's become 8. No condition, true. 8 greater than 0, yes. 8 greater than 0. 8 modulus 2 equal to 0, yes, it is true. So go inside. Printf percentage count, it prints 8. Continue after decrementing the value. So it's going up with the 7. So what it is doing, whenever this two condition is true, if it is greater than 0 and it is an even number, this printf is printing and continue is moving back the program control to the condition of the loop. What continue is doing? Continue moving back the program control into the condition of the loop after updating the value. So that's why when the number is an even number, that particular line is not get executed. When the number is odd, then this condition is false. It is also false. Then only it get executed. Why? Because there is no continue. Continue is inside the if. So unless I go inside the if, this continue never going to be executed. So that's why when the number is even, then only this after else statement get executed. So if we can check this here also. Shown you. Just add a printf statement here. After this printf, put a \n. Okay. And here, just print the value of count. Now run. Now see, when it is even, odd number, then only this line is printed. When it is even, it is going inside the if, and due to the continue, we continue with the condition of the loop. So whatever the line that you have written, okay, whatever the line that you have written, after continue, they are not going to be executed. So continue is jump in the backward direction, while break is came out of the loop. These two are opposite of each other. Continue means what? Continue means continue with the loop after updating the value, continue with the condition. And what is break? Break will came out from the body of the loop. Okay. So I have covered the single for loop here. I will discuss the nesting. In another lecture, I will cover the nesting. One more thing is left into the for loop. Let me show you. Let's remove them. Let's write a simple for loop here. For, let's declare this variable here, integer. Okay. Integer I equal to 0. Okay, and here I less than 10 and I plus plus, and inside I am writing. And see, sometimes we write this when first time writing the code, we place the semicolon after the for loop as well. Okay, for loop as well. And inside that I am writing now printf %d, and let's print the value of I. Let's see what it is printing. Run. So see, it prints only 10. How it is possible? It's printing only 10. Why not printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9? Because of the semicolon that you put after the for. Because of the semicolon. This semicolon. So when you put a semicolon after the for statement, what will happen? Compiler will completely execute that loop first. From 0 to 9 it is executed first, and plus plus is become 10, and now you are checking the condition again. 10 less than 10, it becomes false. So now what are the statement that you have written after the semicolon? Now this is not the body of for loop. It will be treated as outside of for. Outside of for. That's why this line is executed only once. If I remove this semicolon, it will print 0 to 9. Let me show you. I'm removing the semicolon. Execute this line. 0 to 9. So now 10 is not printing. I'll get the 10 outside of the for loop. Let's print. Printf outside for. Use some yes \n and print the value of I here. Now run. Now see, outside for I get 10. So earlier what I did, earlier I put this semicolon here. We are expecting that this line is going to be executed 10 times because we are using here blocks. But because of the semicolon, these blocks will be not considered part of the for loop. It will outside of the for. Now see what it is doing. It prints 10. Again it's printing outside of for. Again prints 10. So it means if you put a semicolon after a for loop, whatever you have written after for loop, it will be considered as the outside of the for loop. Okay. So this is the last point I want to share with you. Okay. Repeat these videos so that you can understand the for loop completely. In the next other videos, I'll come with this other two loop, while loop and do while. By that time, enjoy and don't forget to subscribe that particular channel to get all the notification in your email once you subscribe that particular channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.